everyone, and welcome back to the Ben White Show, also known as Penal-Tea Time. We are on episode 2, and we have a new friend with us today. So if Charlie wants to introduce himself.
Yeah, hello. I'm Charlie. I am 21, and I am a Stoke City supporter. So lingering in the Championship at the moment, but yeah, good to be here.
You don't support the worst team anymore, Reece. You're all right.
It's always nice to do it on a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke, isn't it?
Yep.
So, yeah, we've had like a busy few weeks since we filmed. We've had game week 3 and 4 for the Premier League, international break. The women's league's back. It's been busy. So we'll just chat. We'll start with the Premier League, I guess. So Brighton finally lost.
Do we have to mention that?
Just to rub that in for Damien.
2-0 against Everton. It was a pretty decent game, to be honest with you. I don't think they deserved to lose that game.
I wasn't watching the Everton one, to be fair. We watched the Villa game, the City game, and the West Ham game that day, I think. And then I watched Liverpool-Chelsea.
I think I watched
I think I did watch the highlights of that game. Was that when Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison fought over that penalty, the Everton game? Or was that?
That was the one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. If you're both decent in-form attackers, how do you decide who's gonna take that penalty on the day? You should have it in writing, or at least from your gaffer to say, right, if we get a penalty today, you're going to take it, or you're going to take it.
Or like an order. Be like, you're taking the first. If we get more than one,
you take it again. If you miss, you're not taking more.
Like, just keep the drama off the pitch. I mean, there was a lot of drama that weekend. The Chelsea and Liverpool game was full of it.
Yeah.
It was a bit dramatic.
Reece James getting sent off.
I didn't agree with it, to be honest. I think it was an entertaining game to watch.
I think the Reece James is literally because it did block a goal scoring opportunity. It was like the ref was kind of like, well, I'm gonna have to give it. Like,
there's been far too many weird red cards going on over the last 2 game weeks, and I'm not a big fan of them. I think
and yellows. There's just been a lot of bad refereeing, even in the women's league. I'll get onto that later.
They were doing it last season, and they're still doing it this season, where if it's an offside, they're waiting until you've literally put the ball in the back of the net and started to celebrate.
Like, and you're celebrating, and then it's like, woo, no, you've not scored. And I'm like, well, what's the point in that? Like,
it's like, there's a ridiculous delay in the goal being scored, and then the linesman actually, like...
You just look like a bit of a mug.
Exactly.
You run up to your fans, start to celebrate, and then the flag goes up, and you're like, oh, thanks, mate.
And there's been far too much... far too much interference from managers that's towards the linesmen and the referees that are influencing how cards have been given out as well over the last 2 weeks.
I think that happened with Klopp at the Leeds game, because obviously I was watching that with my dad because he's a Leeds fan. My dad better not be watching. And the way Klopp just started to go off on the ref, I was like, do you mind?
With that challenge, if you watched it, he gets the ball.
Yeah, that's it.
Said that it wasn't Strauch's fault, and then so he waved it away, carried on. It wasn't until, as you say, Klopp were in the ear hole of the fourth official.
100%. Apparently, VAR checked it, and apparently it was always going to get given as a red, but that's only because he got injured. Like, I hope he's
why didn't you go over and have a look at the screen? The screens are at the side of the pitch for that exact reason. Have a look yourself instead of listening to what other people say. You're the main...
He got the ball.
Yeah. And I think they were unsuccessful as well in their appeal against that red card as well. I think because they appealed against it.
It should have been overturned. It shouldn't be a red. I've spoke to a bunch of people, like 2 of them Leeds fans, if that, and no one thinks it's actually a red.
It didn't look like a red, but I think just because of like the severity of it and how it like resulted in an injury, I think that's probably like the main reason. But
then you look at the challenge that Fernandinho did on Rafinha. I can't remember when that was. When we got beaten by him anyway. That nearly ended his career. He didn't even get a yellow card for that. So how do you justify giving somebody a red card for cleanly winning the ball? Yeah, the injury happened, but it wasn't his fault. And then you're giving him a red card for that. What's it? Where does the line end? When it's a red card, not a red card, is it a yellow card, or are you just going to wave it away and say, "Oh, nothing happened"? It's one thing that I don't enjoy about football at the minute. Refereeing decisions, too much influence from third parties, the managers, the bench. Like last night when Man United played Young Boys, Ronaldo got subbed.
I could hear that. I
literally on the pitch.
I try not to watch United games, but because I live above a pub, like back at uni, I can hear it. So I was hearing I heard a lot of people get angry.
No way. I'm in no way ever, and I never will be. I'm not a Manchester United fan. I hate them, but I am a Ronaldo fan. So it's having him back in the Premier League. It's like a breath of fresh air. I've enjoyed watching him his first 2 games, and he scored 3 goals in 2. I think for a 36-year-old, his movement and his sprint speed, it's just taking it back to them days where he was United beforehand. He's such a good player.
While we're on the subject of Ronaldo, there's actually something funny that I came across when I was in Manchester visiting Sarah. I was in the sports shop getting a Soccer Aid shirt, and this City fan went up to the counter and asked for a City shirt with Ronaldo 7 on it.
I do watch quite a few YouTube like FIFA content creators, and at least 3 of them that I watched all put out a weekly video of whatever series that they film, doing a Ronaldo to Manchester City episode, and then literally a day later he signed for Manchester United, and they were all on the next video. They were all backtracking. Oh yeah, so
well, that's funny.
Do a Manchester United episode instead.
Considering apparently Fergie has nothing to do with Man United anymore, it's pretty funny how he got them Ronaldo.
He's definitely on the board of directors there.
100% is. Like, I saw something on Twitter, I don't know who it was from. Ferguson stepped in the second it was getting serious that he might come to City. Fergie stepped in and said, "I never want that to happen."
I don't think he would ever go into City, to be honest with you. I think it would all a big ruse. He knew where he was going. It was just a matter of playing the waiting game, and then obviously jumping on the fact that he was going to Man United. He was never going to City in my eyes. I don't think he'd want to disrupt his reputation in that city and in that club.
But I think one of the best things I saw about that whole story, to be honest, was the United fans' reaction to it. So when he first got announced that he was linked with City, you hit loads of people hitting social media and calling him a snake and stuff like that. And then literally a matter of hours or a day later, they say, "Oh, welcome home, King. Oh, welcome back to United." It was just how quickly things changed.
It shows you how two-faced Manchester United fans are, doesn't it?
Didn't one fan burn the shirt?
Yeah, one fan burnt the shirt, and then he
had to go out and buy a new one or something afterwards. That was quite funny.
Another £105 or whatever it had cost for that shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. So you've got all the United fans that are like, fuck the Glazers and all that. They turn up with the yellow and green scarves on, but wearing Ronaldo shirts that they've just bought for 130 quid. It's like...
Stupid. Yeah.
Stupid. Make it make sense. It's what are you doing?
At the end of the day, they're going to continue putting money into Manchester United's pockets, aren't they?
That's what I mean. If you really want your club owners out, just stop buying shit from them. Get all the knockoffs from DHgate and everything where people don't get money.
I found it quite funny on there. I was looking on DHgate at Leeds United shirts, and they've come up with some you can buy a shirt with random names and random numbers. Somebody that doesn't even exist. Yeah. That's never played football for any team in their life, and they're there Michael Yapson, number 5. I'm like, who? I don't remember him playing.
Signing.
He might be a good player. You never know.
If he's a striker, I'll take him.
I think
I'm 100% buying I have no shame in buying DHgate shirts.
I get turkey, to be honest with you.
I love Dortmund, but not enough to spend money on their shirts. I don't have that much money.
I don't understand why shirts are so expensive. I mean, yeah, they have always been expensive, but they seem to be getting more and more pricier over years now.
Well, cities are made out of recycled plastic, I think, anyways. So we've got like more expensive because it's eco-friendly.
Yeah, but you've got edible cups as well.
No,
So.
we don't. When we went to Soccer Aid, we didn't get a cup. They don't have edible coffee cups. They had like the standard paper ones. And I was like, well.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter a couple. I think it was a guy and his missus. There might have been a kid there as well. And they were saying thanks for the cups. And they had the edible cups.
They seem to have them at like the Premier League game, literally the weekend before we went. And then we went and it was just standard paper cups. And I'm like, I came here to eat a cup.
Like Willy Wonka's chocolate.
I'm not gonna lie, paying $5.25 for a fucking pint, that hurt my heart. $5.25 for a pint of dark fruits. I was like, yeah, we got free Haribos, so it's £3 for a bottle of Pepsi in the Etihad.
Wow.
And I was like, can we have a pint of dark fruits and a bottle of Pepsi? And they were looked at Damien in his chair and just went, oh, they get free Haribos.
They get Haribos.
So I don't know whether they were talking about like the chair, whether they thought he was a child.
That's bad.
But like $5.25 for a pint, I was like, Jesus. I phoned my dad and he was like, yeah, we're not buying drinks in the Etihad. I was like, no.
I don't know. What do we think about Arsenal then? Finally getting on the scoreboard and winning the game.
They've won 2 games now. They won one with Brentford behind closed doors. I think it was 4-0 they won.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then they finally got a Premier League win. I mean, it was the relegation battle. So.
It wasn't a relegation battle, Sarah. Leave me alone.
It's a relegation battle. You
were the bottom 2 teams.
Leave me alone. We're not bottom anymore.
Norwich by 1.
Yeah, but we had 30-odd shots, but that doesn't mean anything, does it? Well, at least we scored one.
Stats don't mean it. It's the scoreline that matters.
Ben played well.
Yep. Won the game. And played well. Won the game. That's all that matters.
Saka played well until he got took off.
Yeah.
Apparently, Saka's only going to be an 80 in FIFA. That's what I was like. That doesn't make sense.
I'm refusing to buy it this year because I always spend so much money on my ultimate team, and I ain't got to do it this year, so I'm not doing it.
I just wait till like 9 months later when it comes on Game Pass.
Yeah, or you can buy it for five or £10 somewhere.
I'm not FIFA, guys. I was always Pro Evo.
Pro Evo's always been good. I do like
the old Pro Evos were just they were the best.
Yeah, they were. I can't wait for the new manager one. I love Football Manager.
I love Football Manager.
I do love Football Manager. I think it's great.
I can't wait for the new one to come out. I've got the old one on the Switch. Well, last year's on the Switch.
I've got 2021 on my laptop because it came on Game Pass, and I was like, yes.
It's absolutely fantastic. I've always enjoyed playing them games. It's like my dad. He was a manager. He played for a lot of years, but he ended up managing quite a few football teams and won a few trophies. So managing's always been something that I like to do. So I do enjoy playing them games. I wouldn't mind doing a proper team, but there's no teams around here, I don't think. What's this Arsenal player unrest anyway?
Apparently, I mean, we know Will and whoever it is. I didn't pay much attention. Apparently, half the players wanted transfers out before the end of the transfer window closed.
Yeah, that was a complete load of rubbish. I don't quite know where people get their rumors and all that lot from. That's the problem with social media.
Not gonna lie, there was also a sex scandal rumor. So.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. Like
I was like loving that. I was like, I'm down for the whole. It'll make their all or nothing exciting.
You sent me that at like 3 a.m., didn't you? I was like,
did.
I'm asleep.
Damien's sleeping, and I'm just sending him like sex scandal rumors from Arsenal.
Then you're saying there's a player that's that was denied by his lawyer for coming out, so maybe that's could be the player.
But no, apparently it would make sense if Arsenal players were unhappy, to be fair, at like the end of the transfer window.
Yeah, but it's their own fault. They play for the club. They should work their asses off a little bit better.
If anybody goes in the January transfer window, or at least in next year's summer window, I can see maybe Lacazette leaving and going back to.
I think Aubameyang will see his contract down because it'd be another Ozil situation. again.
Yeah, either that or they will end up going back to Dortmund. I reckon Haaland will go somewhere and Aubameyang could go back to Dortmund.
Yeah.
I quite like the domino effect of how the transfers have gone over this past window, where one player's been signed by a team and then somebody's coming to that team and somebody's coming to that team. It's just like Messi leaving and then the whole Ronaldo coming in, and I've quite enjoyed this past transfer window.
It's all fitted well, hasn't it?
It has, yeah, and it's made for. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Ligue 1. I don't watch it much, but some of the transfers that the Ligue 1 teams have made in France have been really good, and they're playing good football. Guendouzi, for one of them, has been playing immense, and as well.
I always knew Guendouzi was a good player.
Yeah.
Saliba as well, but then I think Saliba will come back to Arsenal anyway, because
What's happened to Thomas Partey?
He's our best defender. Thomas Partey.
Is he injured?
I don't know whether he played. I think he played. I don't think he played at City.
He came on last week.
Yeah. So he has been injured since.
He's been injured
summer.
a while.
Yeah, he has been injured a while.
I'd not heard of him or seen him for a while, and I thought, I wonder if he's moved. I thought he might have been one of them that's gone, but the amount that they paid for him, I don't think he should be messing about.
To be fair, we missed. Partey was one of those players that should have played at City instead of Xhaka before he decided to go lunging in on that wild challenge.
I mean, to be fair, no matter who you played, you'd have still got thrashed 5-0.
Yeah.
Even though
5-0, and we've got 2 fit strikers at the minute.
Oh, you're funny. Even though if Smith Rowe had been a split second earlier, challenging Ederson, he'd have scored.
I mean, it would have been nice for Ederson to have a job to do in the second half. Man got paid to just stand there.
I don't really rate him. I used to rate him as probably best goalkeeper in that league, but I think now you can't class him as the best goalkeeper in the Premier League because it seems like he never has any work to do. So he's not really.
That's what I mean. It's so hard for him
when you've got a defence of John Stones and Ruben Diaz in front of you, and then obviously your Kyle Walkers and who's the other one? Zinchenko maybe.
And Laporte and everything.
Aymeric Laporte. There's just no work for you to do. You could put Scott Carson in net for next 3 games, and he won't have no work to do.
It's literally it's hard to judge a goalkeeper when they don't have anything to do.
It is. And he always seems to fumble and mess up in the big games, though. Like your Champions League finals and stuff like that. He never does turn up there. I mean, I'm not sure who I'd say the best goalkeeper in the Premier League is in terms of the amount of work that he's actually putting in to keep his team in the game. Alisson's up there, but again,
I think Emi Martinez is right up there as well.
Yeah, Emi Martinez, even though I don't like him.
If we're talking about keepers that have jobs to do, I mean, we've got Sanchez at Brighton.
Thank you.
He actually does have to save goals during the week.
And I'll tell you something. On the for the fantasy football is a very good cheap option. It doesn't matter,
I've got him as my second keeper. I actually had him as my keeper this week in case Ederson.
I'm glad I'm glad I picked Arron Ramsdale because he's fast proven everybody wrong.
He's doing quite well actually. I think in a couple more games, he'll be definitely up there, and I reckon Arsenal will be back up the.
We're one of those teams that can go and thrash West Brom 6-0 on a Tuesday, Wednesday night, and then go and get beat 5-0 the 3-4 days after. That's just how it works.
That's it. I think they need more consistency. Though I think Arteta's taken Pep's mindset where he's forever changing who's playing in what position.
Pep had an unchanged lineup for the first time ever in 3 games.
Yeah, he did.
Which is quite a shock considering how long he's been there. And John Stones is injured once again, so
Grealish has started the season off well for Manchester. I know he's only scored 1 goal, and it were quite a fluke goal that he scored. But
he was just in the right place at the right time.
He was, yeah. But I think he's he's in the coming up to prime of his career. I think over the next 2 or 3 seasons, he's going to be up there with goals and assists.
It's
And
the
I reckon-
second best-selling shirt so far in the season, with Ronaldo being the best-selling shirt.
Is Ronaldo not the best-selling shirt of all time now?
Probably.
Probably, yeah.
It's
It's
I think
32.5 million in like the first 12 hours or something.
I think he actually surpassed his own record from when he signed for Manchester United before.
Yeah.
Can we just talk a minute to just laugh at Tottenham Hotspur? Because
Now that was a red card at the weekend, 100%.
Yeah,
100% yeah, that was
yeah,
what
definitely.
I was saying about if you go back and watch Xhaka's against City and then go and watch, was it
Tanganga.
Tanganga, but
Tanganga at the weekend, yeah.
who was the Burnley player that the Everton player that clattered into the Burnley player and didn't even get a booking? When if Xhaka had done that, that would have been a red card.
I think it all depends on what team you play for. And
100%.
you know, if Jack Grealish had done it, maybe a yellow card and a telling off, and that were it. But I think a lot of referees are quite biased towards which teams they're going to give cards to, all depending. I mean, the referee we had on the weekend, he was from Yorkshire, but in no way was he a Leeds fan. And I think that showed in some of the decisions that were given against us.
The best one is Howard Webb and Man United.
Yeah.
Like, they went hand in hand.
I think we've got Matt, and I'm not a big fan of his either, to be honest with you.
Now, what's everyone's thoughts on the fact that Lee Mason's retired as a referee, but he's allowed to be a VAR specialist? Because I don't agree with it.
I didn't even know he'd retired as a referee.
No, I didn't.
To be fair, I didn't either. I don't pay much attention to the referees. That sounds bad.
Oh, well, I thought you supported one of the Manchester clubs. I thought taking that as a referees would have been right up your street. Oh, no. But yeah, carrying on. No, he shouldn't be a VAR, whatever they call him.
They're calling him a specialist.
Well, yeah, they do need specialist people to work that system out.
What makes you a VAR specialist, though?
What makes you a VAR specialist?
This is
You
where
sit-
I'm confused.
You sit in
There
a
was
room
no
with a few
information about
screens,
this.
watch replays. That's anybody could do that.
You
We
sit
could-
in a Sky have had that for years, where they've
Yeah.
seen things everybody else hasn't.
I know that Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher are always bickering about VAR. And
I apologise, by the way, as well, Sarah, but we are equal now on the banter term, so we can leave it there. But yeah, Carragher and Neville on Twitter, that's all it is. They're just arguing. I know, like, it's a bit like watching Sarah's Twitter blow up the last few days, where she's like having rants at everyone. It is. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. It is a bit like
argue with myself though, because nobody comments back.
I argue with myself. Like, I do. I just, like, I got mad and I was like, I'm going to tweet it. And then people are replying in my DMs. And I'm like, but now I just look really crazy.
It's absolutely mad.
yeah, Carragher and Neville are quite bickering.
Did you see the bickering going on between Gary Lineker and Carragher?
Yeah, something about that they got the stats wrong of how many European trophies won it that somebody had won as a manager.
Lineker just likes to
something.
complain at people.
It all culminated in Gary Neville saying, "I'm going to get in my car and jump on the M6 and come down and run you over. You this, that, and other."
Is that what he said to him?
Oh, they were going back and forth.
That's wrong, man. If I said that to you, that'd be a death threat.
Yeah,
If I
exactly.
said that to you, that's ridiculous. Like,
I don't think they care, do they?
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I don't trust Gary Neville. They had like the Tory v Labour debate when they were both sat in first class on a train. And I was like, neither of you two are in a place to have a Tory v Labour debate right now, love.
I've never liked Gary Neville, to be honest with you. I didn't even like him when he was playing for England.
He's a bit shit now, isn't he, Damien?
Yeah, he was a bit shit at soccer, wasn't he?
Just a bit.
I prefer Roy Keane and Micah Richards going.
I love Micah. I love Micah.
I think two of the best pundits out there at the minute is Micah Richards and Alex Scott. Scott's
Yes.
absolutely amazing. It's a breath of fresh air to watch and listen to a female that knows what she's talking about, that's been there and done it. Like, what's the other one, Karen Carney or whatever? I can't stand her.
Yeah.
She said that Leeds were only promoted because of COVID.
Is that the one on BT? I hate her.
Yeah,
I hate her. I hate her. Honestly, I do.
She's an Arsenal women's legend.
Again,
as a
we
player.
I mean, I don't care who she plays for. We still hate her.
Yeah, she's
Fair.
not the best, and she
Fair.
doesn't know how to pronounce footballers' names anyway when she's on the TV, which does my head in.
Speaking of players that we hate, Charlie, how's good old Ryan Shawcross doing?
Was he not finished yet?
No, I swear his like contract's ended with the club now. But I could take him or leave him, to be honest. I mean, as a captain, he did do as well. But no, I've not really
Is
taken.
Joe Allen still at Stoke?
Yeah, he's still at Stoke. Yeah.
It's mad that he's back there.
Joe Allen, the Welsh. What was he? The Welsh Xavi.
Yeah. He had like one decent season at Liverpool, didn't he? And then he was terrible after that.
No, I'm going to be honest. As an Arsenal fan, I'm probably going to get absolutely slated when this comes out. But I do respect, like, in Stoke's first season in the Premier League, we just about got on. But then it was the first time we played you, and it was long balls into the box. That's all it ever was just the long balls. Long ball. Rory Delap in the box, header in. And it was just like, what? And then obviously, like, I think the only reason why we were annoyed with Shawcross on Ramsey was because of what happened with Eduardo the year before.
Yeah.
And that's going back on nasty injuries. Whereas the Pascal Struich one was in no way malicious at all. If you go back and watch, I don't think the Shawcross one was malicious, but if you go and watch the Eduardo one, that definitely was like.
Yeah, that was malicious.
High.
Yeah, I remember watching that one.
And if you have a look, if you type in Eduardo injury, you can see his ankle is just messed up. Like, he was never
pretty much the same as Harvey Elliott's ankle. That were hanging off. But
Ramsey, on the other hand, came back to be, I think, one of Arsenal's best midfielders, and I still don't know why we let him go.
Is he still at Juventus now, or has he moved on?
He's at Juventus now. Yeah.
I know that they were trying. I think it might have been Arsenal that wanted him back.
Yeah, they were trying to offload. Obviously, they were trying to get rid of Ramsey. They got rid of Ronaldo. I think they got rid of Douglas Costa. As well, Gremio.
Yeah.
But that speaking of players going, that was quite nice of Willian to pay off 20 odd million. I mean, he was never worth that, but like,
he's gone to club, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's gone back to Corinthians. David Luiz has gone back to Brazil as well. So
David Luiz, for me though, that's a waste. He's still a decent player. He's only he might be 31, 32. He's still a decent player.
He's one of the best ball playing centre backs in the league. Like, he could just ping a 50-yard pass.
Some of the free kicks that I've seen him score in the past.
Yeah, he's
definitely would been a good free kick.
Same with Willian, though, to be fair. I mean, he only scored one goal for us, ironically, and it was a free kick. But some of his goals for Chelsea were class. He is a very good player, Willian.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, what you were saying a minute ago, talking about players called Eduardo, what did we think about Odsonne Edouard's debut for Crystal Palace?
What a debut, yeah.
I loved every
You've just
minute of it.
complimented Palace, Damien.
No, I complimented
Like, hold on a second. Like,
hang on, no.
Hold on a second. No, rewind a second. You called him impressive. Like, you don't catch me complimenting Ronaldo, even though I do like the guy. He did have a good debut, but I'm not going to compliment the guy when it's being recorded and put on the internet.
Don't get me wrong. I'm salty that the fella rejected us to go to them, but the man took his goal as well.
Yeah.
He came
Yeah,
on.
but it's like Vieira said in the half-time team talk. He said, "Lads, it's Tottenham. You know, you should be able to walk all over them. You know." And he was asked in the post-match interview. I think I put this on our group chat where they asked him, "So, you know, you still haven't lost at home yet or something?" And he said, "What are you on about? I never lose to Tottenham." Like, the man's a legend. I hope
think-
he does. I hope he does really well, Vieira, because
I mean, he's
Yeah.
still not Arsenal's best number 4, though.
No, he's not.
I wonder who. Arsenal's best number 4 was William
boy that can do
Saliba,
anything
and
that
he
comes
never
from
even
Brighton.
played as a number 4. He had
I
the
think-
shirt number taken off him. That's what I don't like, is that like when I see like Ben White getting the number 4, everybody collectively went, "What? That's Saliba's shirt number."
I know we
What?
spoke quite in depth in episode 1 about Ben White. Obviously, he's played for Brighton, played for Leeds, played for Arsenal. He's in England now. I don't actually see what the big deal is with him, and I especially don't see why
No.
so much.
No, I
As a Brighton
don't
fan,
know.
it's potential.
He's
We
just
don't
another Harry
think it.
Maguire.
Oh
He's not-
no!
He's all
He's
high.
better than Maguire. Come
Oh
on.
no! Should I leave this
all
conversation? I don't really know what to say. I mean, 50 million we were mugged off, but really, like, yeah, I'd rather have Saliba as a centre back than Ben White. But this is up to Sarah. It's her show.
He was
Hang
good
on.
with.
You said on Twitter
was
that
good
Ben was
with
your
Leeds.
favourite Arsenal defender.
Pardon?
You said on Twitter that Ben was your favourite Arsenal defender. Did he or
Yeah.
did he not, Sarah?
Yeah, he
Hang
did.
on a minute. Hang on a minute. Did
Must
you?
have been
Did,
drunk.
yeah. Did you? Did you or did you not just compliment Crystal Palace,
Yes, I did, and I hold my hands up.
or was you just drunk?
But
One of
you're
the two.
just contradicting yourself because you're saying that you don't think that much. of
All
Ben.
right, Damien.
Is
I
he,
know
is
you're
he as
try-
good as Rob Holding though?
I know
That's-
you're trying to defend Sarah, and you'll do anything for Sarah and all this lot. I see how it goes. No, you're right. I did. Ben White is currently Arsenal's best defender. Currently, William
Sure.
Saliba is Arsenal's best defender, and he doesn't even play for the club. But yeah,
No,
what
I
would you-
think- what
personal
would you say
favourite?
the best defender is in the long run of all time?
Who-
Tony Adams?
Tony
or
Adams,
Keown?
yeah, Adams or Keown. Yeah, Sol Campbell as well. Sorry, Tottenham, but yeah, Sol Campbell probably. You know, like I remember when he left, and all the Tottenham fans were like, "Oh, he should have stayed and joined the new revolution at Tottenham." Well, the following season, Tottenham finished 16th and he won the double. So tell me what revolution? And even he said it wasn't about money; it was about the trophies and stuff, which is what obviously we offered him at the time. Times have now changed.
I was going to say Arsenal won't be getting anyone any trophies anytime soon.
Hey, yeah,
No, they might win the
We're only-
championship next year.
we only won the FA Cup last year, dude. Come on, man. Like, we still win.
Yeah, but
things.
this time last year, you weren't like just above the relegation zone.
You're still better than Manchester United for trophies won over the last so many
Yeah,
years.
that's very true.
But in fact, I've got more legs to stand on than trophies that Manchester.
Damien's got more legs to stand on.
Hey, that's it. Pick on the cripple.
I knew that were coming. I knew
So
that
did
were
I.
Oh, yeah.
As
So
soon
did
as I
I.
left mouth, I knew that were coming.
I know Damien's got some kind of agenda against Arsenal. I don't know what it is. We've done nothing
I've
to
got no
him.
agenda against any club apart from Crystal
It's
Palace.
because Ben moved to Arsenal. Like,
Isn't the Brighton Crystal Palace rivalry voted the weirdest? Because it's
Yes,
a
it is,
rivalry
but
that
that's
just
because
shouldn't happen.
geographically it makes no sense.
yeah,
Because the
feel
fans
free
will
to
make everything.
explain. Like, explain why you're rivals, because it doesn't make sense.
Anything to take the
Well, I
conversation
can't
away
actually
from me.
explain it that well myself, but there is a YouTube video which explains it in full detail if the viewers want to check that out. But it's to do with various incidents between managers and players in the past, etc.
That's like I was reading a poll. I don't know who put it together, but it said that Burnley thought that Leeds were their biggest rivals and their biggest derby. Since when have we been a derby? And why would we be anywhere near you as rivals? Burnley, for God's sake, what the hell?
But it's like Charlton. Charlton think we don't like them. We don't care about Charlton. They're irrelevant.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry, Charlton fans.
There's a lot of fans you need to apologise to, Dave.
I
A
tell you
lot of
something, though,
people we need to apologise to, let's be honest.
We've had a fair few decent views on us episode 1, and a lot of those have come from my friends over in America. I also do. I'm an admin for a wrestling group with over 30,000 followers on Facebook called Wrestling Redefined, and the majority of the admins have all been over and watched the first episode and said,
My only friends are in this Zoom right now, so you know
Oh,
I can't get anyone to watch it.
I've watched it 2 or 3 times just to get them likes up.
I
and then-
haven't. Watching it while editing it is just enough for me.
Yeah, I get you. Once you've watched something of yours once, you don't want to see it again.
Watching
That's
it while
for
I'm
sure.
editing it is bad enough. Like literally watching like 2 minutes at a time, cutting it, putting it together. It's no.
What do we think about this weekend's upcoming fixtures then? Starting with Friday, Leeds Newcastle.
You should win.
What a game! What a game! I love the Leeds Newcastle rivalry. Why do I always say Leeds rivalry with everybody? It just seems one of those clubs, doesn't it? Where
It's
everybody
one
seems
of
to
them
wanna get
things,
one
isn't it? Where
over.
you're like me, thinking back to the 90s and early 2000s when both of us had fantastic teams that were in Europe at the time. You're looking back at your Alan Shearers, your Mark Vidukas, there's Alan Smith. There's always been them players that have played for both. Gary Speed, especially.
Oh God, Gary
all
Speed.
that lot, yeah.
10 years since he died. Gary Speed.
That's absolutely mad. That I know that there's been something flying about on Twitter saying that I think it was from a Newcastle fan that on the 11th minute they want everybody to put lights on the phone and hold it in the air for Gary Speed, which I think is
So
quite
they
nice.
should, yeah. He was the one that arguably started the success of the Welsh national team.
Yeah.
You mean Wales have been successful?
Well, yeah, they have, really. I mean, the semi-finals of the Euros, yeah.
They've been more successful than they had in previous years.
Yeah,
Yes.
successful.
And talking about Wales, deadline day transfer, Dan James coming to Leeds from Manchester United.
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah, I think that's
Finally.
a good deal, to be honest.
Good signing that.
It took long enough.
And because of that, Elder Costa decided that he was going out. Well, they decided he was going out on loan. I think he's going to Valencia for the year with an option. I don't think there's an option to buy. From what Marcelo Bielsa said, he very much features in his plans for next season. But I don't know. How do you deploy? We've got so many good wingers at Leeds at the minute. We've got Rafinha, Jack Harrison. We've got
Harrison. Yeah.
How do you decide who's going to play? I mean, you've just spent 20 odd million on Dan James to sit him on the bench for 75 minutes. Would you deploy Rafinha in that number 10 role and put Dan James to the right?
I had this conversation with my dad actually, like when he signed. We were working out where he's gonna play because like you've got like
he came on for his debut and he replaced Jack Harrison and he played left wing.
Didn't Leeds have a winger that Tottenham brought and then loaned him back?
We had Jack Clark. And you bought Jack Clark.
What happened to him?
As far as I'm aware, he plays for somebody like Stoke or some lower league team now. He's still contracted to Tottenham, but he's out on loan. Because he had one decent season when he was like 17, 18. And then we had Tottenham's pants down, sold him on, and then they loaned him back to us, but he didn't play a single game. It was never the same after they had that. They had a bit of a funny turn at Middlesbrough, didn't he, on the touchline?
Apparently, he's still a winger for
Yeah, he still plays for
winger for Tottenham. Yeah.
He played in one of the Europa Conference League games the other week. He came on as a sub.
I might have been
against Salford, I think, or something. I think it was against Salford or something.
Yeah, he played for. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But he was at City. He was at Stoke last season from like January until the end of last season, and then he went back to Spurs.
He's never been the same.
Tottenham are the first English team in history to lose in the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Europa Conference League. So I'm sure Arsenal will come in and break that record before you say anything, Damien. But just for now, we'll just appreciate that. I still don't know how. I know Tottenham got through and everything, but I still don't know how you can lose in the Conference League.
How do you think they'll get on this weekend? Because they're playing Chelsea this weekend. They're at home to Chelsea. How do you reckon they'll get on?
Well, first of all, I think Arsenal and Burnley will probably be a draw. I can see that being a draw all day long.
And Manchester United, that's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm excited for that one.
I obviously, no, it's hard. Really, it's hard.
Chelsea will win.
Chelsea, yeah.
Chelsea are going to win. Ben Chilwell finally got a game for Chelsea last night. I am so happy. Right. So Tuchel came out earlier in the week and said Ben was mentally tired from not getting picked at the Euros. And then Tuchel goes on to not pick him for Chelsea and complain that he's annoyed and sad and upset that he's not getting game time.
Cry, baby.
We had this conversation, didn't we, Sarah?
I was having this conversation to Damien literally last night. I was like, how is he expecting him to feel happy about getting no game time at a national level when you're not giving him any at a domestic level?
How do we all feel about Gareth Southgate deploying Terence Trent D'Arby or whatever he's called as a midfielder? What's all that about?
That's the Epsom derby, innit? That was the first race at Epsom.
I don't get it. Like,
Weird.
there are plenty of midfield options of English players that you could bring in who are midfield players.
If you look at what Southgate continuously does, though, he only ever chooses 3 strikers. He'll only ever choose, say, 5 midfielders, 3 goalkeepers, and all the rest is made out by defenders, 4 of which are left backs, 3 of which are right backs.
He's not got a very attacking style of play. I don't think, to be honest, Southgate, because he. I think one of the players I was most annoyed about him not picking over during the Euros was, I think, James Ward-Prowse, to be honest, because he had a good season all throughout for Southampton, and he scored, I think, when he got the chance at the national level as well. So it's
he did. Yeah, you're right.
It's annoying not to see him it's annoying not to see him be featured, to be honest. Same with Bamford actually as well.
See, me and Damien can't complain about Ben being picked because, even though he didn't get played, Ben White playing at the Euros is how me and Damien became best friends. So,
yeah,
we do have that to thank Southgate for.
Talking about Bamford, though, his England call-up were very much deserved, but the amount of game time that he actually got, there was no balls coming into him. He was making the runs, he was making the space, getting into them areas where if a good ball comes in, he's going to at least work the goalkeeper. He gets whipped off the field on 70, 75 minutes. And lo and behold, Harry Kane's there. So let's start whipping them balls into that box. And he scores.
Yeah.
But then people are saying, Bamford's not good enough for England team. Well, if he had the same service that you was giving to Harry Kane when he came on, maybe he'd have scored. Maybe he'd have at least worked the goalkeeper.
I feel like that's the same in quite a lot of teams, though. They will have, the players that they're just oh, you're there. You're there, you're here to make up numbers.
What does Harry Kane actually do, though? What does he bring to the table?
To be fair, I was ranting about this.
I love this conversation about.
He's apparently rated 90 in FIFA, and I'm like, well, no. Ronaldo's a
88,
91.
I think at best, I reckon.
Ronaldo's 91. De Bruyne's 91. Messi's 92.
Yeah,
and how is Haaland an 88 when Kane's a 90?
Ter Stegen's 90.
Yeah.
Lewandowski's what, 92? 91, 92 or something, isn't he?
I think the highest rated player is Messi in it on 93. Then Lewandowski's 92, followed by Ronaldo 91. Although
KDB's 91 as well.
Lewandowski is a good player. I couldn't believe actually that last night or whenever it was, all weekend, was the first time that he'd scored in 8 games. Usually he's scored. It seems like every time I check what Bayern Munich are doing on Sky Sports scores, he always seems to be scoring. But apparently,
when they were up 13-0, I didn't think I got confused by that stat because I could have sworn he scored a week or 2 ago.
Yeah, he did. I mean, I
could have. I've watched most. I watched most of the Bayern or Dortmund games, and I swear he scored a few weeks ago.
I don't.
Wasn't that in the cup game?
What's that?
That might have been in the cup game when he scored.
Possibly.
Because we were
Still counts
watching it.
goal, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw an article going around recently. I think he wants to look elsewhere for a club now, doesn't he? At some point, what he does. Where do you reckon he'd go? What do you think would be the right place for him?
Probably Chelsea.
I'd love him to come to the Prem.
I reckon if he goes anywhere, he goes to Manchester City. He fits that mould of a City striker. He's very much an Aguero type runner, fisher. His body size and everything. It's built for how Manchester City play. I can't really see him going many other places. I don't think he'd want to go to Barcelona or Real.
He's definitely a better header of the ball, I think, than Aguero. But
Yeah,
he's better like physically than Aguero, I think. But yeah, I think
Aguero seemed to be good on the ball. He could turn on a dime, and he'd always get you them goals, them crucial goals when you needed them most. Whereas if you get the ball to Lewandowski, he's going to score 99 times out of 100. But that's just the type of player he is. He could even go back to Dortmund if Haaland leaves. He could go back to Dortmund.
Potentially,
yeah. True.
There seems to be a lot of players that leave Dortmund, go to Bayern, and then end up back at Dortmund at some point. Like Mario Götze has done it, I think, 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, that's what I could see him doing, is going back to Dortmund or potentially staying at Bayern, maybe signing another 2-year contract and then doing it.
Quite possible. One place that is definitely not going to end up is at Manchester United. I think Haaland will probably end up at Manchester United, if anywhere.
I don't think his dad will be too happy.
Well, no, he's a League fan, isn't he? Is Haaland. So is his dad. So it'd be nice for him to come to Leeds, but I don't think we've got enough money.
My dad can't see him going to United just because his dad will get pissed off at him. And because he's a Leeds fan. I personally can't see Haaland going to United. I'd like him to come to City. Like, he's the one target I want next year for transfer window.
I mean,
but apparently we're going for Bellingham and Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice and everyone else instead.
Mbappe is definitely leaving next season, before the next season, to go to Real Madrid. So
I think he's doing it in the summer transfer, isn't he? In the January transfer.
I don't know if it's January or next summer, but he's definitely leaving. So that leaves you one spot open at PSG. Now, PSG, we know have got the funds to go out there and buy top-notch players. Who do they sign if he does end up on the market? Do they sign Haaland?
Or do they go for Lewandowski?
And Haaland goes to Bayern Munich, which I have heard on the rumour mill that there is a possibility that Bayern Munich are looking at him. If he signs a 4 or 5 year contract there and then finds himself in Premier League in a few years, maybe that works out for him. Or does he want to test himself in the Premier League with the best players? I preferably would like him to go to Premier League, but money talks at the end of the day. Money talks.
It's a completely different style of play in the Premier League. So it'd be interesting to see how he can like prove himself in like a completely different environment, like a completely different style of game.
It's weird that you see players being signed for big money coming to the Premier League with a lot of hype surrounding them, and then we'll say, like, for instance, Sissoko came to Tottenham, didn't really do anything, signs for Watford, and he seems like he's found his place at Watford over that last couple of games. He had a very good game this past weekend. I can't remember the score, but I know Watford have got Norwich this weekend, so that should be a decent battle. I can see that either Watford coming out on top or being a 2-2 draw, because they are quite evenly matched teams, aren't they?
I've gone for Watford in that one.
I think I've put my bets on, but I can't remember. There's quite a lot of games that I won't touch, like Wolves and Brentford. I'll just leave that because it's
like a 0-0.
It's either going to be no goals at all, or one of them's going to run away with it 2 or 3-0.
I'd like to see Tony find his feet in the Prem, actually, because of how good he was in the Championship last season for Brentford. So I'd like to see him do well this season.
He's been consistent. He's played consistently for the last 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Talk about FIFA before. He always seems to get a team of the week, or he always gets a team of the season for Brentford. So I think he's going to have a good season once he starts to get them goals going in. But
he broke the record for most Championship goals scored last season, didn't he? He broke the record.
Yeah, he broke Murray's record.
I think he did. Who else have we got this season? This next week, should I say? Burnley, Arsenal, Liverpool.
We play Southampton, and I'm not going to lie, I'm looking more forward to West Ham United than I am for our game, because I know that we're most likely going to win, and it's like, I enjoy these games, but I'm looking forward to like Leipzig tonight more than anything, because, you know, like, It's a fair match.
Brighton Leicester's going to be a good game.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
I'm
gonna
looking
be good.
forward. I'm looking forward to Villa versus Everton actually, because I think that could go either way.
I think that's going to be quite a scrappy game.
Yeah,
I
Just
think if Everton turn on the style like they did the other night in that 5 minutes where they just blew Burnley away, then
What about Andros Townsend's goal?
what a goal!
yeah. I was about to say, can we talk about that goal? Jesus Christ!
He only
Brilliant
had
goal. Like.
4 screamers. His last 10 goals have all been screamers from about 30
Yeah.
yards.
It's
I mean,
a,
he did play for Leeds at one point, and I never remembered him doing that for us.
it's a brilliant goal. I remember he'd done that a couple of times for Newcastle. I think he'd only scored like twice for Palace.
The goal against City that he scored against for Palace.
Mhm.
I always remember.
Yeah, that was a great
I think
volley.
Eduard's second goal as well for Crystal Palace at the weekend.
Mm.
That was a good goal when he just kind of
Yeah.
stopped and then just smashed it in. Quite Bamford-esque against Villa that time when we beat him 3 or 4-0.
I'm
Just a-
saying no more about Edouard because Sarah will bully me.
He's a good player. He proved himself in Scottish Premier League with Celtic, and I think he's gonna flourish at Crystal Palace under Vieira.
Yeah.
I think Vieira's going to get the best out of him.
Once Eze gets fit as well for Palace, I think they'll be a good little team as well. Once Eze comes back from his injury.
They're definitely one of them teams that
in a couple of weeks, is it?
they'll never be up there challenging the big six in terms of points wise, but they're always one of them teams that will go out there and give a good fight against them top teams,
Yeah.
no matter what. Never seem to back down. Same with Wolves as well. I mean, they've just signed Hwang Hee-chan from Red Bull Leipzig. I think he scored on his debut this past
Yeah, he
weekend.
scored at the weekend. Yeah.
He always, like, going back to FIFA again, he always seems to get a good card towards the end of the season. I think he actually had a ones to watch card right at the beginning as well of the last FIFA game.
I
But
Yeah.
would have
always-
thought Wolves.
He's a good player.
I would have thought Wolves would have been one of those teams that really would have kicked on now and tried to have got top 4. But they
Do you
just
mean,
haven't.
What do I usually call them? Little Portugal.
Yeah.
I was watching it with my wife the other night, and she was saying, "Where's he from? Portugal. What about him?
Portugal.
Where's manager from? Oh, Portugal. Don't ask me where he's from. Why? Where's he from? Portugal. I don't know why. It seems to be they're just invested in these Portuguese players. But I think they need to sort Nelson Semedo out because he missed 2 clear sitters this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good runner. He's good at getting into the box from them right wing back positions. But once he's in the box, he just seems to do nothing.
Bit like Bellerin,
See, where's Bellerin gone now?
Real Betis.
Yeah, he's gone Betis online.
First place.
I think he's gone on loan.
Mm.
No option to buy though, which is strange.
I think he'll definitely leave next season.
Very strange. But we
Yeah.
brought that Tomiyasu, and he looked pretty decent at the weekend.
He did look good. He did look very good. Where did he come from? He came from Italy, didn't he?
Bologna, yeah, Bologna. I think Tottenham wanted him, but Tottenham decided to go and buy Emerson Royale, and it looks like we got the best deal in the end because
Emerson Royale had a terrible game this past weekend as well. I think he were playing just as dirty as Tanganga, to be honest with you. He were lucky to be still on field at end of game.
I'm not going to lie, Reece. When Tottenham are 7th and you're 16th, you really can't say you've got the better end of the deal.
We can't
Yeah,
say much, but we got absolutely schooled by Liverpool this past weekend. I think obviously there were some dodgy decisions flying about, the red card and such. But
you've got to remember though, Sarah, the problem with Tottenham is they beg themselves up every single season. We're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. They've not won a trophy for 12 years. They've not won the league for 60. So
Yeah, but they're not shit though. Like,
if you haven't won a league title in 60 odd years, the chances are you're probably not very good.
they seem to rely too much on certain players, and when them players aren't having a good day, everything goes to shit. They're always looking at Kane, Son. Dele Alli's had a bit of a resurgence over this past game week 4 or something, 4 game weeks.
Must be the new hairstyle, I think.
Yeah.
Everybody that hairstyle now. It
watch
does
that fizzle out.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It
don't.
was nice. It was nice to see Bam Bam get me some fantasy points at the weekend.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many you got. I'm going to have a check actually whilst we're doing it.
Speaking of this weekend's fixtures, though, Brighton are quite unlucky. They've not got a Webster.
No.
Yeah, Webster's hamstring's gone.
Yeah, God knows how long he'll be out for.
The coach still hasn't said, so it's just a waiting game.
So looking at the our Premier League draft, we've got Reece sat at the bottom with 72 points. Sarah's in third.
I'm not bottom. That's all that matters to me.
With 83 points. In second position is Damien with Alana's in pyjamas, only 1 point above Sarah with 84. And for some unknown reason, I've taken the lead.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah, some unknown reason. Yeah, right.
You mean the Ronaldo
Yeah, right.
Oh, I had a shocker of a week this week in Fantasy Premier League.
I had a decent one.
Bad. Well, someone told me to transfer Ben White out of my team for Antonio. Antonio got me -1 point. Ben would have got me 5 points.
I think the two highest scorers this past weekend or three highest scorers were Ronaldo, Lukaku, and Aubameyang.
3 of which I don't have any of them in my team.
So I were quite lucky because I've got Lukaku and Ronaldo in. I mean, I've got Son in there as well, and I did have him in, but that didn't seem to work out well. De Bruyne, he got no points. John Stones got no points.
Didn't come off the bench.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he'll be fit to play today, to be honest. Apparently, Kev made it back to training yesterday, but John and someone else, I didn't pay that much attention, weren't in training yesterday.
Bad songs and jeers.
Oh, that was like, that match was bad at the weekend.
Once again at the weekend when we were playing Liverpool, now touch wood, thank God he's already been found out who he is and he should be getting banned. But there was one guy mainly in the Liverpool supporters end waving Turkish flags on his phone and signalling knives and
that's disgusting. It really is.
It was put out on a few groups on Facebook. Anybody know this lad? And he was found pretty quickly. So I hope the police or the club deal with him before any Leeds fans deal with him, because it'd be better off for him, to be honest with you. But it wasn't just him; there were quite a few.
But then a few Liverpool fans were saying that Leeds fans, when Struich got sent off, Leeds fans were singing "Always the Victim," and they were singing Hillsborough chants the other way.
Yeah, I don't agree, to be honest with you.
It's, if you give it, you've got to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Got to take it back. But I, like you say, I don't agree with the whole Turkish thing. I don't agree with any chants about Hillsborough.
See, that's the thing about United. Leeds and Man U have always had a really big rivalry, and we always used to sing about the Munich air disaster incident, and it was never in good taste. But that were the 80s and that were the 90s. That's what football were about: fighting and kicking off with each other and other sets of fans. But as soon as that happened in Turkey, Man United stopped any vengefulness or bitterness towards us when they were singing. So we cut the Munich song out of our repertoire, which is for the best. But I think going back to the Hillsborough song and everything, singing about that, if you're gonna give it with a Turkish thing, you're gonna have to get some back. But both sets of fans that were involved in it should at least have the tickets taken off them or banned, because
they shouldn't be singing that. They shouldn't be singing songs like that.
It needs to be kept out of football, full stop.
Yeah, but it's not just Hillsborough here. Like those doing the Turkish as well. Like that's just as bad.
Definitely, 100%. I agree with you.
Kevin Spag were one of our family's best friends. My dad used to run the football team at his pub. He used to take me to karate when I was a child. So it does it home a bit more for me than other people looking in from the outside. You know what I mean? But there's no room for it. Same with racism in football and whatnot. Like going back to that England game against
Hungary.
when they were throwing beers and everything. that's. I hope that either has been dealt with or it does get dealt with.
See, I used to.
Because they need to make an example of them so that other teams' fans think, right, well, this is what's happened to A team, we're B team. If we do it, that's going to happen to us. So we need to behave ourselves.
Well, it's like Chelsea fans at the weekend as well, shouting abuse at John McGinn.
Yeah.
I don't know the full story of that. A statement appeared on Twitter, so I thought I'd read it because I'm nosy.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Opposite sets of fans are always going to give it to each other. You know what I mean? But there's a certain line that you shouldn't cross, no matter what it is. Don't be throwing lighters at players' heads when they're taking corners. Stop throwing coins. Don't be throwing beers at Muslim players. It's, you know what I mean? Stop being racist towards players, especially your own players. I've seen that happen before where fans have been kicking off and making monkey noises and stuff at their own black players. Why would you do that? It's stupid. Get them out. Get out altogether. Because
you just see what happened in Ligue 1 a couple of weeks ago, the Nice and Marseille game. What happened with a fan and Dimitri Payet? Like stuff like that is.
I think we actually covered that on episode
we
1.
Did. We mentioned it briefly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I used to have huge respect for Hungary as a national team.
Oh, I've never had respect for Hungary.
For their history.
Oh, no, I cannot respect them. I mean, my gay pride flag's up there, so you can't see it. But...
Yeah, that team, the team from the 50s, and that my nan used to grow up watching when we watched Hungary, England, and all that lot. So if you're talking about respect from a national team from a footballing perspective, they've had some of the best players that's ever played the game.
Yeah.
And they've been
I just can't praise Hungary.
But
yeah, I cannot do it. Like raging bisexual here, cannot do it. I cannot praise Hungary.
I wasn't saying that as in what they stand for. I was just saying like.
Well, no, it's the fact that even at games they're not allowed to have people wearing like LGBT armbands or anything. They won't support LGBT in football. It's ridiculous.
It's not good. It's 21, isn't it?
You might want to cut that bit out the podcast somewhere. I say that. Fine. More about the way they played at the Euros then was much better than a lot of people I thought.
Yeah.
They surprised a lot of people. Yeah.
They gave Germany a good get right. If you focus on, I'm trying to focus on the football on the pitch.
See, I can't even when like. I can't physically support a team that have really bad morals off the pitch.
No, I know. No, I didn't mean anything bad like that, Sarah.
It's just hard to praise them when they're bad people.
I just think I was talking from a historical perspective. Some of the players that used to play for them, and also, the way they accounted for themselves during the Euros, the way they played, was they nearly got through. And they were in quite a tough group. They gave Germany a good game and could have beaten them. So they played very well. Yeah, they did draw. And it was only because of Ronaldo that I think they went 1-0 up, didn't they? But VAR disallowed the goal. So they were very nearly, they could have easily topped that group. I wanted them to top that group because I did want an underdog like Hungary to do well and go far, purely because of the players and everything. But the fans and everything I don't agree with, but no. they do have some decent players. I can't think of who their best player plays for now, but I can't pronounce his name.
Szoboszlai, I think, is one of their best players at the moment.
Dominic Szoboszlai. Yeah, he's a good player.
Talking about international football, what do we think about the incident involving Brazil and Argentina?
See, they were there for like 3 whole days before that game. Even up until like 2 hours before the game, there was stuff going on online like, oh, are they going to get removed from the country? They should never have let it get to that point where they were on the pitch playing. Never.
But why punish the Brazil players that didn't go and play for the country? Why try and punish them?
See, this is what I can't work out. Like, is it because they wouldn't have been available if they went to do international duty? But at the end of the day, if your club refuses your right to do international duty, then you can't go.
A club should never refuse the right for their player to go and play for their country.
Technically,
I mean, right now,
like the player himself should be able to make that decision if they feel that, yeah, I'm going to go play.
In COVID terms, obviously, the club can say no.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it would all brushed under the rug, wasn't it, a little bit? They did let Alisson, Rafinha, and the other Brazilian players play. But why didn't they do it with the Argentina players? It only seemed to be Brazil.
Well, here's a good argument for you. A lot of Liverpool fans, you've probably heard this, a lot of people in Liverpool and Liverpool fans claim that they're not English, they're Scouse. So if they're going to claim, if they're going to claim themselves as a different nationality, then surely they should be ejecting to Liverpool players going and playing for England, but they don't. They're all supporting.
The thing is, I think the FA have fucked up. They really did fuck up with that. Like the fact that they didn't ban players from other countries is, like Arron was saying, is just.
Yeah,
it's stupid. But like Argentina were there. They had players. They had Emi Martinez. They had Buendia, but they were fine. They didn't get picked on. If you're
and we
do
just
it,
talk about the Brazilians as well, who were saying, "No, we weren't playing in England. Your games are shown on TV. You're gonna get found out."
Yeah. I think now it's going to make. I think clubs are going to be more cautious and more worried about letting these people go on international breaks now because of because I saw an interview. I think it was someone from the Aston Villa club or something. But I think it's going to make more Premier League teams more worried about letting these people go on international breaks now because of the consequences it could have and stuff like that.
I mean, Zach Steffen's now caught COVID, so we have two keepers. So our keepers at the minute are Edison and then Carson.
Scott Carson's a decent keeper. I know he might be about 50, 60-year-old, but
no, I love him. But Steffen's now got COVID, and last time I knew he was isolating in America, and he's caught that from international break. Then we've got the argument again of football players being unvaccinated.
You see, that's one thing I reckon. All players should be vaccinated.
What's annoying me, fans, if they're not vaccinated, can't go to the game, but players are allowed to be unvaccinated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should definitely. There should be
look into that.
Mass vaccinations for teams in the Premier League and the other leagues as well. If you want to play, you need to be vaccinated.
Especially after Newcastle's keepers literally come out and said I was in hospital pretty much on my deathbed.
Yeah. It's bad, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's the individual's word, isn't it? They're the ones that get the last say on whether they want to have it or not. So if that's going to endanger the game and the rules of the game, just don't let them play.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let them play. That'd be the easiest solution, I think. Definitely. Right, can we have a little break so I can sort dogs out and stuff?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of got dead legs because I'm sat with my legs crossed.
So,
what do you think about Lingard at the against Andorra? Then
I am so happy for him. Whether he's a red or not, he deserved that goal so much. His first goal since 2018.
I am definitely happy for him. I mean, he worked his socks off for West Ham last year. He's got himself back into the Manchester United team. Obviously, because of that, he's back in the England setup and getting the goal.
He scored for the weekend for United as well, didn't he?
Yeah, and he assisted last night, and it was the greatest assist you've seen for a Champions League winner. I mean, it was brilliant. That was
a bit of a disaster. That was.
The ball through was brilliant.
I hadn't actually seen that. I did watch.
Striker timed his run to perfection, dinked it over the goalkeeper, and beautiful Lingard assist there.
I think he's a good player, and people forget that he's still only young.
Mm.
Oh, please, Arron, you're not one of them, are you? He's nearly 30.
I'm nearly 32, but I'm still only young.
Moving on. But yeah, Lingard was called a promising player at 25. He was called a promising player at 26. He was called the next big thing at 27. Lingard.
He's 28. Relative, compared to Hendo, the man's still pretty young.
For me, as of now, Henderson gets nowhere near the England setup.
Oh, that's a bit controversial considering he scored against Ukraine, if I remember.
Yeah, but in that his first England goal.
Did you watch the fucking friendlies or whatever the were when he missed that penalty? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But wait, how are you going to dislodge Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips?
To be honest, Arron,
Given how well they played during that old tournament, like I watched when I was watching the final, I like looking at Declan Rice. He was probably one of our better players because he was just non-stop running and everything. Like he was. I really enjoyed watching him.
I've read this past week that Manchester United are signing. No, Manchester City are signing everybody.
Yeah, we are apparently to replace our captain.
It's definitely not going to happen with Declan Rice. The only
apparently it's Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips, Jude Bellingham. We've basically just want half the England squad left that we don't have.
Well, put it this way: Declan Rice will not go anywhere apart from Chelsea. His best friends at Chelsea.
100%, he's only going to go to Chelsea.
Calvin Phillips is worth a hell of a lot more than 26 million as well.
Yeah.
Me and Damien were saying this. We don't get how he's only 26 million.
Where's that come from? 26 million. Who's decided on that valuation?
I think what it is, too many of these so-called media experts for football just base their valuations off of what they come out at the top of their head.
Now, I'm not going to lie. You know how much I appreciate Ben White, but how is Calvin Phillips only half the price of Ben White?
Exactly.
Like,
I give to you.
Because Ben White's better looking, maybe, Sarah?
My phone case tends to disagree.
Literally. I mean,
I love that.
in terms of footballing,
He looks more like
Calvin's
Ben White in the front there, Arron, I must say. That's the irony about it.
in
Right.
terms of footballing, he is 100% not only worth half of what Ben is. Like, he should
No.
be far much more.
Is he worth a whole lot more to you then?
He is. Calvin Phillips is worth a whole lot more than 26 million.
Look at the
Calvin Phillips
players.
is a 50, 60 million pound player, easy.
Yeah.
Look at the players who play that same position, that centre defensive mid position, that have moved clubs recently, and their transfer fees. Off the top of my head, I can't actually think of many of them. But what kind of money would they go for? Who would you put in the? It makes you think. Like with Real Madrid, they wanted to be in this Super League. They had no money. They had this, that, and other, and then all of a sudden they were offering 183 million euros, whatever it was, for Kylian Mbappe.
Pep saying we have no money is 100% mind games. Pep plays mind games all of the time in transfer. 100%. All managers, all clubs saying we don't have the money to sign this person is guaranteed mind games.
But when Conte came out and said he weren't going to go to Arsenal, I guarantee you within 6 weeks, Conte will be Arsenal manager.
How long do you see Arteta being there?
I can't see Arteta being there. If we lose to Burnley, then no.
Arteta will end up managing somebody in Championship.
But the trouble is, your fans burnt their bridges with Wenger a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our fans just never seem happy, to be honest. You're always complaining about fucking something.
It's same in any club, though, isn't it? I mean, I'm quite active over on Twitter and various Facebook groups to do with Leeds. If we have a good day on the weekend, we play well, we get the win. Everybody loves them, and then we go and lose 3-0 to Liverpool this past weekend. It's Bielsa's not good enough. Bamford's crap. Get rid of Phillips. This and
You get the
2 days later. I absolutely love Patrick Bamford. He's got well done for getting in England's squad.
Yeah, but like Arsenal fans are currently mourning because someone cried seeing the stadium for the first time. Like, y'all are really just reaching at this point.
Yeah, they're clutching straws.
Like, you're reaching for content. Like, you're so irrelevant. You are reaching for content.
Wow. Man City fan talking to me about being irrelevant. Wow.
Talking about stadiums and that, though, I do think I still prefer Highbury than I do the Emirates.
I prefer Highbury.
I prefer Highbury.
Highbury was a great stadium. It's just a shame they can never redevelop it because that specific area of London, all the houses are so close to where the stadium is.
Yeah.
Whereas there's like Liverpool and St James's Park, you've got like this big open space.
Yeah, there's a lot of field around there.
With Highbury, you probably have to demolish half of the streets in London to make the stadium any bigger.
Even going as far back as Main Road. I mean,
yeah,
it was an horrible, pokey little stadium. At least they could fill it when it were Main Road.
Yeah, most of them were away fans. Yeah,
our ticket. No, right. Why we don't sell out? Our tickets are A, ridiculously expensive, and two, far too many ticket stipulations.
the best game.
The only bad thing about football in recent times is the pricing of everything.
You can get a Leipzig ticket for £22, a Champions League ticket for £22, the same ticket, the same seat for a Premier League game, 50 to 65 quid.
Obviously,
Nelka never gets talked about enough when people are talking about decent Premier League strikers over the years. He never gets talked about enough, doesn't Nelka?
He's also a nice person. My cousin met him. They were Bolton fans. I don't know if they still are. They were Bolton fans. They have signed shirts from him and everything.
He's totally on the opposite end of the scale than El Hadji Diouf, put it that way.
El Hadji Diouf, do you remember him? Oh, he was still a good player on his day. He could be a good player, but he was. I
remember when he came to Leeds, and they were spitting at people and all sorts. He was the most disgusting person ever, but he still banged a few goals in for us.
And
I think he played Liverpool as well, didn't he?
Yeah, and now Kurt at his best was at Arsenal, in his early days, 100%. But he played for Liverpool, City. I think that was Chelsea. Yeah, played for Chelsea, Bolton. Yeah, so he's played in.
Even played for West Brom as well. Anelka.
Oh yeah, he was suspended for doing the racist celebration.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Going back to Aaron's point though about costly, it is now. Football seems far more about the price of everything now than the enjoyment of the actual game.
Yeah,
it is.
The shirts, the prices to actually watch a match. I'd rather just stream it illegally. The thing is, I live 10 minutes from the Etihad, probably, if that, and I'm not paying £65 physically, £65 to go watch a match when I can get that same seat for 20 quid to watch a Champions League match.
I've not been to a league game in quite a lot of years, to be honest with you, and that's simply because of the pricing.
And we were looking at this for cup matches literally last night, weren't we, Damien? Arsenal's cup matches, the super cheap, and our game against Wickham. The Women's Super League is back. I'm excited, obviously.
Yeah, I've not kept up too much with Women's Super League. I do see things from time to time over on Twitter and from what you guys.
Well, I love that Sky have now got the rights to it, so we can actually get it.
I saw that because I think the only one I watched highlight wise of the weekend was the West Ham and Villa game. But yeah, I saw that Sky have got.
I watched part of them. Well, considering there's only 12 teams in it, I think it's a good league.
Are Leeds in it?
No.
Are they not?
The 3 clubs here that are in it are Brighton, Arsenal, and City. I'll read the table. I'll read the 12 clubs in order of the table. So it's Brighton, Arsenal, United, Tottenham, Villa, Chelsea, City, West Ham, Leicester, Birmingham, Reading, and Everton.
I did watch the Women's World Cup or whatever it was a couple of years ago. That was quite cool.
US one.
I watched that.
US one, yeah.
That's pretty good, because the World Soccer Federation, I was just saying to the guys when we had a break on filming, the US Soccer Federation is now trying to fight for equal pay, so they're now going to give the same contracts to men and women, which is pretty good.
That'll be mad, that.
That's a big step forward. Very big.
Very
and
big
they're trying to, apparently they're going to start a fight for equal prize money as well.
It's only fair though, isn't it? I mean, we're in 2021 now. There is still them people that are quite sexist out there that believe that women shouldn't get the same preferential treatment as men. But in this day and age, who would you want saving your life? If you were on death's door, would you turn around and say, I don't want that woman surgeon saving my life, I want that man? You won't, would you? You just want your life saving at the end of the day.
To say 2 American footballers, Christian Pulisic and Alex Morgan, there's not really any difference between them. They are 2 of the best international footballers there is.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
One's
For
a
the
man,
country,
one's a
definitely,
woman.
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
but
she
they're
is a good
both
player, though.
like how she's not earning as much as he is just doesn't make sense. And
I think she makes a lot on branding, though. She's got a lot of brand deals.
It's the same in this country, like Steph Horton and like I'd say all the City women. It pretty much Team GB at the Olympics was just Man City's women team.
Yeah.
It's just mental how they're not getting the same amount of pay. And it's nice that Arsenal are doing well in the women's league.
That's to do well with something.
Like at least one of the teams is doing well.
Leeds women's team used to be really good. They used to be up there challenging for the title.
Our Arsenal women's teams have always been good, mate. We don't.
I didn't say your women's team was good. I said you have to be good at something.
Yeah, you have to be good in one of the leagues at least.
Yeah.
But Sarah, which team did you read out first for that league?
Brighton.
Oh my God. Give it
It's
to
mad to think that the Brighton team can be top at league, though, isn't it?
It's like talking about ticket prices as well. To go and see the women's team, £10 a ticket.
It's same with the cricket. I used to end up watching a lot of women's cricket at Headingley, like the England team and such, because it was so much cheaper than going to watch the men's team play.
I could go to every City women's game this season because there's only like 20 odd games.
25 seats and they'd fill it out.
Playing on park.
Yeah.
Like it's stupid. It really is how like they're not considered good enough. Like Brighton women have scored 7 goals in 2 games.
And the top at league.
Look at that look on his face. Look.
No, but I've supported my team's women's game for so long. It's nice to finally see us in the WSL doing well.
Good.
Yeah, it's nice to like.
I think my local
well.
team, Oxford, are in the WSL, but I think they're in the 2nd division. I think Oxford United women. I don't think.
I think that's maybe where Leeds are.
Yeah, I think Oxford United women have been in the top flight, right? I don't know, but
I'm sure.
We are definitely a decent women's team. That's for sure. Man City are only a decent women's team because of, guess what? The money.
Yeah, but we can't, if you have money, you're going to have a good team. It's as simple as that. If Arsenal had money, you'd have a good team.
Trouble is, we do have money. We just spent it wrong.
Can you ever see, going back to the equal pay thing and everything, could you ever see Manchester City, for instance, signing a female player for 100 million?
See, that's what's unbelievable. You can't see that happening, but a bloke gets signed for 100 million. We're like, all right, mate.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
I could see women and men's teams being mashed together. That would be quite.
I would love that.
Yeah,
that would be quite fun to watch. I mean, there is female referees and such in men's football.
A front line of Aubameyang, Medema. Bang, like 60
women are slowly getting more into football and like mixed teams, even if they didn't have like I say a proper like a Champions League or whatever, even if they just had a league for people to play in and just show that this can work.
It's like basketball in America. There's the women's NBA and they get paid a hell of a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very much televised along the same route as the men's NBA. So, yeah, I mean, they're signing contracts for millions for years.
I think we should start a women's team. We're like a lot of our women bantering on here, aren't we?
Handbags and the glad rags.
Yeah.
Like the men's league, though, we need better refereeing in the women's league. We need VAR. There was a blatant clear handball against City from Tottenham at the weekend. And it got ignored.
VAR is never going to happen for the lower leagues, I'm afraid.
No, it won't.
It's going to be sticking to the top 5 or 6 leagues and the Champions League.
Do you guys
the
think
thing is, our men are on pretty much the same standard of playing as our women. Like we have some of the best development in the country across women, men. Academy.
It's just the fact of going back to the whole sexist thing and everything.
It is. Like, women's game would be so much better.
Football has predominantly been built as a men's sport. And it is always going to be seen as that. Even with the women getting paid more more in transfer money, it is gonna still be that same sexist thing. It's gonna be. It were always a game for the guys on the terrace, the fighting guys, the beer drinkers and such. It were never put out there for the girls.
Is that why? I mean? Is that why you don't go anymore, Arron? Because it's not. Really your
literally,
thing.
yeah. I don't get to have a scrap anymore.
Damn.
Like
Yeah,
Georgia
you're right,
Stanway's from my hometown. Like it just helps that she plays for City. But she's from my hometown.
Barrow did quite well the other week, didn't they?
Yes. But yeah, Stanway being from my hometown obviously helps me with supporting women's football.
Yeah.
I just feel like we could get a lot more, like the fact that they are the top league in the women's football. They have a Champions League and everything. And we've got 2 teams from the WSL going to the Champions League. We don't have VAR in our league. It's stupid. I mean, Chelsea and Arsenal are in the Women's Champion League. So, like, even though I'm not a Chelsea or Arsenal fan, I'm going to be cheering on them too.
You want to see them doing well.
Seeing as we got beat by Real Madrid, and I was just really sad.
I know what's the female pundit called? Enia Luco? Is that her name?
Yeah, Luca, yeah.
She used to play for Juventus, I think.
Yeah,
I'm
and
sure,
Chelsea.
quite sure she did. She was always a good player, and
Oh,
Alex Scott, obviously.
Me off topic, going back to what we mentioned earlier, I've just seen on Instagram they did lose the red card appeal Leeds, and even Harvey Elliott said it's wrong. Like
3-game ban. We're going to be left for the next game this Friday against Newcastle with Liam Cooper as his only recognised centre back. For me, he's Leeds through and through now. Don't get me wrong, but he's not Premier League quality.
Harvey Elliott's even apologised and said it is wrong. He thinks it's wrong, which it is.
See, for me, it's going to have to be Luke Ayling moving in from right back to centre back, and possibly playing Jamie Shackleton at right back, which is a bit. I don't know. I can actually see us losing. If Alan St. Maximan's on form, I can actually see us losing that game.
Like Sarah can banter me off all she likes. Trouble is, I can only go with Man City's history. I can only go them being relevant as far back as 08. So that's,
but history doesn't mean any. Like current day form, history means nothing.
History doesn't mean anything because you have no history to speak of.
No, history doesn't mean anything because it's not relevant.
Who can you see from recent form? Who do you think is going to win the league this year?
Honestly, with the way Ronaldo is playing,
it's going to either be Man United.
This is really hurting me to say.
Chelsea.
Like
we're
before
unbeaten
Ronaldo signed, before Ronaldo signed, I said Chelsea. My top 3 were Chelsea, Liverpool, and City.
Depends
Chelsea, City, Liverpool.
Depending on how Lukaku performs this season, because I think he scored the yesterday as well, didn't he?
Yeah, before Ronaldo came, top 2 was going to be us and Chelsea for me. But Ronaldo has actually kicked the rest of the team's asses into gear.
It's just having somebody of that caliber come, in their case, back into their team.
Like
a lot of them
usually,
guys, they've never played with anybody of that
doesn't make
caliber.
a good team. Like one amazing player doesn't make a good team, but he's actually having a positive impact on the rest of the team.
Is it?
It's like saying earlier on.
It's
like saying earlier when he was stood on the pitch, on the touchline against Young Boys last night, giving instructions after he'd come off. And he used to do the same at Juventus and Real Madrid. And I think he did it when Portugal won the
he did in the Euros.
Yeah.
It's just.
When I think then he was like an assistant manager almost.
He knows what it takes to win. And it's good to have somebody in your team like that.
Apparently, no one's going for like unhealthy food and like.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah, someone said today that the reason
something who got the apple crumble.
Yeah,
they didn't. They should have had it last night.
I love a bit of crumble.
Mark made them win the game. I love all this. Ronaldo's made them better. Well, they lost last night.
Yeah, but Ronaldo has made them better. Like
he has dragged their levels up without a doubt.
Like whether it's just him being in the team is helping the other player. Being in the team is helping everyone else. He has lifted their team spirit and morale
100%.
miraculously.
Oh, he has, but he's only scored 3 tap-ins. Let's
I
see
think I think he needs to help Fred a little bit more than some extra training sessions because he's
Yeah.
absolutely useless.
I
Not Fred,
100%
both of
think
them.
he's partly there just to boost the team. Like,
Yeah.
usually having one great player in a team doesn't make a league-winning team, but Ronaldo might be that
Yeah,
Mhm.
exception.
yeah,
I
definitely.
reckon he could go down the player coach route in a couple of years, possibly as well.
I hope he lands up more like Wayne Rooney as a manager than Ferguson.
Wayne Rooney's had it a little bit tough, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Just a bit.
I've never been a big fan of Rooney. England-wise,
Neither have I.
fantastic.
Darren Farley
That
does a good
mixed soccer
impression
ain't
of
no
him.
Sarah.
Everyone was cheering for Rooney as soccer, and I'm just sat there like,
Every time
I
Rooney
felt
does an
awful
interview,
because I was
though,
literally sitting next to you going Rooney, Rooney every 5 minutes.
I'm just sat there like, yay.
every time Rooney does an interview, he always comes on and goes, yeah, I think, sorry, what was the question? I can't wait to drag County Derby to League One. So he always goes, yeah, and then he just forgets the question. Like, it's
So if you
just
go in
brilliant.
players that have become managers that in recent times that have had decent seasons,
Gerrard.
Steven Gerrard at Rangers,
Gerrard, yeah.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Gerrard,
I mean,
right?
to be honest, Lampard was good with Derby. Actually, I enjoyed watching his team when
Charlie.
I enjoyed watching Derby when Lampard was managing.
Charlie,
was managing.
don't go there. Don't go there with Lampard and Derby and Leeds. Do not go there.
No, I'll keep shush this time about it.
Do not go there.
It's just going to be a weekly occurrence. It's just shitting on Frank.
Yeah,
Saying about players that had a good career as a player and became a good manager. Graham Potter at Brighton did not have a good playing career.
Graham Potter's doing well. Whether he might not have been the best player, but he's doing well this season as a manager. Let's be honest. He is like, you wouldn't expect Brighton to be where they are. Let's be honest.
I'll be honest, I expected we were fighting relegation, especially when we didn't sign a striker.
Yeah, you literally said to me you were expecting to get relegated, and now what? You're fifth in the league.
I think my exact words were, "We're fucked," wasn't it?
You're sixth
Yeah.
in the league because
See, I don't know about you guys, but I think this season has been the first season for as long as I can remember that there's been a great balance of managers, a great balance of players throughout the whole league. It's the Premier League this season has just so far been a pleasure to watch.
I think
It doesn't matter if
it's
you're a
been the
Brighton.
most excited I've been for a season for sure.
Yeah,
Well, it would be.
definitely
You're
for a
stuck
long
in the
time.
championship. You'd have to get excited about
Yeah, it's fine if you're in the championship. You can watch every match and just not care about the result.
Just relax, yeah.
I don't know. I think I'd rather Leeds be back in Championship and actually playing well
No,
than being in Premier League and getting battered every week.
Leeds deserve to be in there. Leeds are one of those clubs that have a divine right to be in the Premier League because they.
I think once we get his first win on the board, I mean, we've only played 4. If we do well against Newcastle, we've got a fairly decent run of games coming up where if we get his foot in the door, we get going, score them goals that we need, and play how I know that we can play. I think. Yeah. I don't think we're going to be up there 9th, 10th. I think we're looking...
needs to change his style of play.
Realistically, I think we're looking at 12th, 13th this season. But as long as we're in that part of the table and we're not in a relegation battle come the end, I think Bielsa's going to stay for an extra season. We've got the opportunity to get some other decent players in, get rid of the dead weights. Liam Cooper.
Only one.
Well, yeah.
He gets really angry. Like,
I don't know. He's just not the caliber of defender that you want. When you look at Liverpool, who've got Van Dijk. You look at Varane at Man United. You've got John Stones at Man City, and then you've got Liam Cooper, a guy that failed at Hull.
Ben White at Arsenal.
Can we just throw in something that Sarah sent me that I don't think we've mentioned yet? The Reading keeper that injured himself because he decided to punch a wall.
He punching a whiteboard or a wall.
Yeah, he punched a whiteboard and he's broke his hand and now can't play, and that just made me laugh.
And then what? 22nd in the league.
Yeah.
I can't believe Forest the bottom of the Championship.
No, I'm surprised at that actually.
They're a big
Well,
club.
that all goes back to history again, though, doesn't it? The Clough days.
Well, they've won more European Cups than they've won double more European Cups than any of our teams,
Is your
as they like to point out.
Yep.
it's like your usual teams at the top there, like your West Broms and you got your Fulhams. So it's like,
If we're talking about shocks, though, to like just end off on, there is a few shocks in the table at the minute in the Prem, to be honest. Brighton being 6th, being one of them. Brentford being 10th.
I know where this is going. Arsenal being bottom half's not a shock.
No, that's not a shock.
Yeah, no, that's not a shock, love.
I suppose it's.
That,
I'm just looking away from the screen now.
The fact that Brentford are 10th and they've only just come up, but we can't really
West
say
Ham have
anything.
started well as well.
Yeah,
West
but
Ham
like we
had a
are in
pretty good
this
start.
like only 4 weeks in. We can't really judge like the end table based off now.
Come back to it in March, April next year
Yeah.
and see what the table
You've
looks
just said
like.
Arsenal. You just said Arsenal being in the bottom half and a shock, and now you're saying we can't judge it. Bit of a critical, isn't it?
No, we can't judge people like
Arsenal
No,
will
we're
be
not
up there.
judging
Arsenal-
like the final of the table. The way you've played this season, it's not a shock that you're in the bottom half of the table.
Oh no, I know, but we've won 1 out of the last 1, so you know we are on an upward trajectory.
against Norwich.
But like
Against Norwich, yeah. Here
when we
go.
get to like December,
Thanks, Damien.
March,
mate. Yeah, thanks.
definitely, we can start to get a better idea of how it's going to end up. Because look at like City.
Oh,
last
Damien,
year.
we will.
Mark, will I?
Yes, Damien, we will.
Like
yes, we
City
will.
last year were 13th and we won.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not expecting us to win the league this year, but I'm definitely expecting a top 4 finish.
That's something
Well,
else.
my bets. I've got my money down. I put my money down on Chelsea at the beginning of before the league started.
I said that to Damien as well.
But now looking at how Manchester United have got Ronaldo and everything, I've got a strong feeling that they're going to
100%.
be.
I feel like Ronaldo is going to be what gets them a trophy. Like
can
he
be a
has
deciding
changed.
factor.
He's
You're not-
not only playing well, but he has changed the team morale and how the team are playing.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Just
also,
hope
look
that
at the
Ole-
effect
just
he's had on
hoping
the
that
fans. as
Ole
well.
can keep
Yeah,
him
very
going.
true, Damien. Very true.
Yep. It seems to have brought them the naysayers and them that thought,
He's reunited them with the club, basically.
yeah. He's got that.
And
He's got. I suppose that's the star power that he's got in it.
Only till when he leaves, and then it'll be Glazers out again.
I think when he does leave, I think he'll go back to Sporting and finish his career there.
Yeah, I think he will. Or he might join Wayne Rooney at County Derby, and that would be good.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us for Penal-Tea Time. Remember, check out our social medias, which are linked below. And we have good news. Podcast will soon be available on Spotify, so you can listen to us so you don't have to see our faces. If you think Reece is ugly, that's fine. You don't have to see his face. But thank you. And yeah, if you want to be on the show, check out the email. Like, that'll be down here. Like, I don't know where I am on your screen, anyone watching. So, like, in the description, check out the email and our social medias, and we shall see you next
That's the end of
time.
the